Alright everybody, it's Caden here from Cold War Collectors, and I'm doing a comparison video between the Vietnam style M-56 gear and the Alice 80 style Alice gear. So, yeah, I've come up with good and bad things for both, and at the end I'll tell you which one I think is the better web gear set, and then my personal opinion on which one I think personally is the better web gear set. Okay, so we'll start with the M-56 gear. Now, I'm going to start off with this, actually. These are both, or this is set up to how the military wants you to set it up. Obviously, in Vietnam, this was the most common way to set it up, so that you had space for your rucksack, 2 canteens, things like that. But this is the military way, and then this is almost the military way for this. Besides, they wouldn't have a canteen, and this wouldn't be here. Instead of this canteen being here, they would have a shovel. But yeah, they're basically the same way. So here, first thing I'm going to start off with this is some good things about it. Good things about the M-56 gear is it has a good amount of storage space just on the web gear set alone. It has the butt pack, which is quite big and can hold a good amount of stuff. And it's waterproof if you get the M61 type. So that's a good thing. And you can have the poncho and liner rolled up on the bottom. So I have a shelter here, and then you can carry food and extra clothes and ammo in here. So that's good. You also have... It looks good. I personally think this looks a lot better than this. That's personal opinion, so... that's that. This isn't as loud when you're running through, like, branches and trees because it barely makes noise. Well, the nylon, it makes that big scratching noise. This doesn't do that very much, that is. So this is quieter. Obviously, this has more metal, like, around here. That clangs, but tape will fix that. It sits good. Like, when you put it on, it's heavy, so, that's a bad thing about it. This is way heavier than that, especially fully loaded. But the heaviness makes it sit good instead of, like, whenever you jump or something, it, like, flies up and stuff. Now, this holds its own weight. It stays down, doesn't, like, bounce about. So I think that's a good thing. It's way more comfy with that as well, with its load-bearing system. I think the H harness is just absolutely phenomenal and great, and it distributes the weight a whole lot better than the Y harness. That and the padding on this is way more, it's just way better. And yeah, and I think canvas is also more flexible and, can form a whole lot easier than nylon. Nylon is more of a rugged material. So that's that. A bad thing about it is it's, like I said, it's heavy. It's not light on the shoulders. If you tighten the belt, though, it gets rid of some of the weight. So if you get the perfect amount of tighten on the belt and on the suspenders, the belt will hold, the stuff on and keep it from sliding and stuff a whole lot easier. And it's just, that makes it more comfy, and the suspenders just keep it from, when this is falling, it keeps it from pulling down your pants as well. It's not waterproof. Water can go straight through this canvas and stuff, so that'll get your ammo wet and your bandage and stuff. Except for this has the water lining, but even this, water can get through on the top or the bottom. So that, it rots. That's why M67 gear came out in Vietnam, was because this stuff is a lot, like I said, heavier, and it rots. Like, after a ton of time in the jungle, the corners start to fray. You can see a little bit of fraying there. This one, you can see a whole lot more on. This is my other web gear set. And it also fades. As you can see, like, these are supposed to be the color of the M61 butt pack, but now they're, like, all tan in some areas and stuff. So they definitely fade and they rot. Like I said, it's not waterproof, but yeah, so those are the good and the bad things about this. Now on to Alice gear. So good things about Alice gear is it's waterproof, or at least it's more waterproof than this. So like rain and stuff, it'll just fall on it and kind of sit there. And it won't really melt through unless if it's in large quantities. And then it has the drainage hole, just in case if you do get some in, it'll just drain out of here. It doesn't rot, or at least it doesn't rot very easy. Probably rots a little bit with extreme extended use, but you know, it's way more durable as well. Like, this stuff doesn't tear nearly as easy. Unless if it's along, like, the stitching lines, like here, this one got a tear, and it's been like this. I got it from the vet, like this. And it just tore along the stitching line, which, you know, will happen with anything. This is way lighter. This is like a feather compared to the M-56 gear. It's just, the nylon is a way lighter material, and when it gets wet, it doesn't gain really any weight. Unlike that just gets 10 times heavier when it gets wet. Like I said, it doesn't rot, it's light, it's more durable, and it's also waterproof. So those are some good things about that. I think this has a bit more. But yeah, bad things about this is it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for this reason. These Y-straps. These Y-straps, they push down against your back, and they hurt, and they don't distribute weight very easy. Another thing is nylon doesn't really, like, squish about as much. As you can see, like, this stuff, they just kind of, like, easily, you know, does that. Same with the belt. It kind of forms to you more. Well, the nylon belt, it's very stiff, and like you can see here, I'm pushing very hard, and it's just not like bending inwards or anything. Well, if I go to the M-56 belt over here, as you can see, this just kind of folds about and stuff. If I flip it over, this doesn't do that. See? Another thing is up here, it does it a bit, but not nearly as much. And there's also less padding on this stuff. Its storage space isn't very good, at least for the standard thing, because butt packs weren't issued with this. Now, of course, you did have the Alice pack that was supposed to be issued with this as well, but just for, like, doing on a small patrol or, you know, just going out for a day or something, this does not store nearly enough. And soldiers noticed that, so they would private purchase, like, butt packs. You know, the M67 type, this type, their training ones, you know, they would private purchase that to use because there's not enough storage space. It sits bad as well because of it being so light. It kind of, when you're running, it jumps around and it doesn't really work well. It's too light. I don't like too heavy, but I don't like too light either. It doesn't sit good. It's hard to open and close the ammo pouches, I think. I'll flip it over again. Like, on the M56 gear, quickly pulling up, that's way easier, and closing it. Just do that. It's way easier when you're not holding camera, but, you know, I think this is way easier to open. Well, this is just kind of awkward where you have to, like, squeeze and push up. And with this being light, pushing up will make it push up on your waist as well. And that gets kind of annoying. So that opening system, I don't like for that. It is way easier to close, but it's harder to open. And I'd rather it be easier to open if I were in a firefight than to close. Said it's hard to open. Sits bad. Storage is bad. So it's uncomfortable. But Atlas gear is now to more of a, like, collector's standpoint. Atlas gear definitely is more of a, it's definitely cheaper and easier to get your hands on. So it's easier to do an 80s impression than it is to do a Vietnam impression. Because just 80s stuff is so cheap. I also think this doesn't look very good. I like the look of Atlas, but not nearly as much as M56. That just looks beautiful. This doesn't. Alright. It doesn't look as beautiful, but, yeah, they didn't really, the only update from it is this, you know, like, I don't know, but from a collector's standpoint, this is definitely the cheapest way to go, and if you're, like, a survivalist guy, this is the way to go, because this stuff's cheap, plentiful, you know, durable, waterproof, so from a survivalist, hunters, collectors, you know, standpoint, you know, person going out just to get some really cheap gear to do something for, like, airsoft, this is good. This is the way to go right here. Alice. So ultimately, I think the better gear would have to be this. Because of how durable and waterproof it is. That's the only thing that makes it good or better in my opinion. That it's light, it's more durable, it doesn't rot, and it's waterproof. Well, this really is just storage space. It's comfier, it sits better. It's not very loud when you're running through. And I guess when you're in combat, you really want it to be light and I don't know. Just ultimately, this I think is the better set of web gear than this, but this is my personal favorite, and it's just really just because it looks better, and from a reenactor standpoint, I like to reenact with it better because it sits better, it's nicer. I could wear this all day. I don't like wearing this all day, but yeah. So that's basically that. If you have any comments to say oh, but the Alex gear can do this, well, the M-56 gear can't. The Alice gear can also hold water purification tablets here, but, that. So, yeah, if you got anything to say, if I missed something, or even just post your own personal opinion on it, yeah, just let me know in the comments. Make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe, and, yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.